These green leafy vegetables are familiar fare on dining tables across Asia. But these old favourites are being grown in new ways at this urban farm in Singapore. Netatech was the first to use drip irrigation for vertical farming on the island. Drip irrigation delivers water directly to a plant's root system. It uses less water and manpower than conventional methods. Founded in 2008, Netatech has evolved from its beginnings as a water treatment and quality control provider to a nature-based solutions company specializing in high-tech agriculture.
We collaborate with institute and startups or innovators overseas to put everything in Singapore and make Singapore as a big living lab, so that we can create many more solutions, not only for Singapore but for the world.
Singapore wants to see more of such innovation. The Enterprise Innovation Scheme announced in Budget 2023 provides tax deductions of up to 400% of qualifying expenditure on innovation activities.
Tough economic climate that may exist for short to medium term may not encourage companies to do the innovation. But what is probably important is these are the times when you got to innovate much faster so that you are ready when the economy takes off. And this 400% tax deduction is going to be a sufficiently strong incentive for companies to look at investing in those innovative instruments that can propel their growth in the future.
It will really help to boost or even encourage SME to take a step, because R&D is not without risk. I think that will really help to bring SME to recognize that innovation is really have to be a DNA of any company who really want to grow and really want to grow not only in Singapore but globally.
To accelerate the internationalization plans of promising companies, the government has set aside 1 billion Singapore dollars to provide more dedicated and customized support. The government will help these companies strengthen their core leadership teams and build a strong talent pipeline.
For us to go overseas, I think first step, our leadership had to be trained and has to be built in terms of our capability of able to handle regional issues. Many of our guys we have a very young workforce, and most of them 5 years out of school, out of university. They have learned a technical skill, but the strategic skill, I think that's crucial.
To support companies in building new capabilities and upskilling workers, the government is also injecting 4 billion Singapore dollars to the National Productivity Fund.
Technological solution is one of them to really enable and help the new developers and the R&D centers and collaborators in the ecosystem to bring new solutions and new digital solutions, but as well as train people, make it capable. So it is important to train people, and the new generation and the younger generation to be trained and to be enabled on those capabilities to bring more and more different solutions.
If you look at the big sectors which will have a great impact on our economy going forward, these are real estate, built environment, energy and transport. The productivity in these sectors is known to be lower than what we would expect. And for a number of years, because of traditional ways of doing things, the productivity has not gone up. I think this is a great opportunity offered by the budget to put money on the table where we want to make a maximum impact. A $4 billion productivity grant will encourage companies to think of robotic solutions, for example.
The government also announced plans to set aside an additional 150 million Singapore dollars for the SME Co-Investment Fund.
SME, when get to the certain stage, they need to as well be international, go beyond Singapore, and maybe even go beyond the region of Southeast Asia. So it is extremely important to understand in this globalization context that all the technology as well as capabilities and the people skill force needs to be well prepared for the challenges outside of Singapore as well.
These grants and incentives clearly reflect the increasing ambition of our SME as well as main economy or real economy players. The various measures that have been announced go a long way in addressing building up further capabilities for the country, in addressing resilience, particularly for the SMEs.
The past year saw challenges to Singapore's supply chain in sectors like food and energy. It was a reminder of the importance of ensuring economic and infrastructure resilience.
We have to have a very resilient, robust supply chain, and we have to have some degree of independence. How do you take it to the next level is the question.
There are a lot of initiatives that we are trying to bring in the country, like urban farming and local, F&B production. And in fact, that produce a lot of good things, but in the other hand, require quite good infrastructure and infrastructure that relates to energy. And energy is one of the important topics for urban farming, for instance. So using the renewable energy will be even more helpful to make sure that we are more resilient.
The government says it will spend more on resilience, but stakeholders in the private and people sectors will also need to step up.
One of the things we're going to need to continue to examine is the take-up of all these incentives and schemes to make sure that they're helping companies address the key pain points.
What we would expect to look into the budget going forward is how we can enhance the public-private partnership to drive some of this agenda.
Singapore company Netatech is already working on cultivating such connections. It's taking its homegrown tech solutions to seed new agri-tech ventures in the region.
The budget is out, the money is there. I think it's time for us to get down to work. It's the globalization. And say, hey guys, get out of Singapore instead of staying here and take some risks. And I hope to see more startups and local SME to be able to become global MNCs going forward.